Hey, everybody. How's it going out there? Looks like I do have some audio running, got some video running, got the visuals, the audios. Just wanted to say hello, happy Thursday. Hope you're all having a wonderful week so far. It's me, ZET, aka Colorado's Rockstar Realtor, here with another edition of House Talk with ZET and the Dome. And today we have a special guest joining us, filling in for the Dome. So we're going to get things rolling. Wanted to be prompt and make sure we're here rolling every week. And so that way you can rely on us if you have any questions or needs with anything real estate related, or with lending when it comes to real estate. The Dome, aka Mike Benton, he can certainly get you helped out with that. And our guest today. And we're going to look forward to bringing really valid, reputable guests in the future on this show as well to come on and speak in their area of expertise. So we're already working out some really great guests to have on here coming up in the near future. So look out for that. And also make sure to send in any questions you guys have. That way we can get those answered, any comments, anything that you want to throw out there, so we can address it or highlight it. And we'd love to connect with our people. So that's what this is all about. It's just a way of me tapping into my network, my sphere, the people I like, know, and trust, and just seeing how I can be of a resource or of value to my network and my sphere, and then always keeping those lines of communication open. I haven't been the greatest when it comes to social media as of late once the pandemic happened, and I also have 2 young kids now, which I'm so blessed and happy, and but my hands are obviously full, as you can imagine, and so I kind of pulled away from social media and doing so much on social media, and and that's not my intention. I definitely intend to be here so I can connect with the people in my life, and I have felt that I've not been as present as I'd like to be with the other people in my life outside of my immediate family, and friends that I have kind of around me and everything. So as a way to hold myself accountable and make sure that I am again being of value to those people in my life and being a resource, I wanted to do something like this so that I can be present on a regular, and again hold myself accountable in doing that. And so that's what I'm doing here, is being accountable and being here and being present. And so I'm going to do this every week, whether it's just me talking to myself or out to the virtual world out there, or until it starts to gain a little steam and we have some more people join in with questions, comments, anything like that. And we're also going to be here providing value, and we're going to eventually start breaking this down into a podcast, as well as breaking it down into more consumable video content. So breaking down pieces that are valuable, or that might be informative to people, and putting that in such a way out there so that people can consume that it will be easy to understand and get, and then also a value to them and everything. So again, I want to thank you guys for joining in. My name is ZET, aka Colorado's Rockstar Realtor. I'm sure a lot of you know me from wherever, school, music, just around, mutual friends. I want to thank you for joining in or tuning in if you're catching this after the stream. And we're going to be doing this every week. Like I said, I'll be here every week, every Thursday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we're going to be having some really great guests join us as well, coming up in the near future. We have someone joining us in just a little bit here, filling in for the Dome. But if you guys have any questions related to lending, financing, anything like that, we can certainly answer any of those questions, get you the information, get you the best answers for that and everything. And we're looking to really bring some really great information on what's happening in the market, in the current state of affairs in the world, in the macro and the micro. And we're going to get super hyper local here as well. So for all of our Colorado people, all of our people that tune in from Colorado Springs or the area, If you have any questions or if we can get any information for you, anything like that, just let us know. And so we'll always be checking the chats and happy to get back to you with any answers. If we don't get them this week, we're going to get back to you next week. And so we're looking for those questions, looking for any input that you guys want to give us. And we're going to be slowly working away at improving this little by little. I mentioned last week just micro, what we call atomic improvements, just 1% improvements. Every week we're going to get better, and eventually we're going to be running a show with just so much great information and guests and just top notch. So we're getting there, my people. Thank you for joining us. And speaking of joining us, we have a very special guest today filling in for the Dome. We're very lucky to have them here. They are a rock star in their field, and I've heard just such great things, so I'm really excited to bring him up. Let me go ahead and get him up. His name is John Kircher. Mr. John Kircher, how you doing? How are you doing today? Oh, I can't quite hear you. Let me see. That could just be something on my end too, though. Let me just check here. So John Kircher is with Benton Capital, and he's going to join us filling in for Mike today. Just any questions we might have, but also wanted to get some background from him and everything as well. So let me see real quick if we can figure this out. Let's see. John, still nothing there on your end? Let me see. All right, we're going to get him dialed in and back up here really quickly. But while we get that figured out, I am going to pull up something that we have coming up this week. We are going to be doing a Halloween bash. It's going to come on the 29th, so we're just a couple days away from that. And so I'm going to pull up the flyer there and go over that information just to give you guys a heads up, and we hope you can make it. Everyone's invited. This is for everyone out there that can make it, whether you're past clients or current clients, or whether you're just tuning in and we haven't ever had the pleasure of meeting before. So I'm going to pull this up here, and here we got the Halloween Bash, October 29th. All ages are invited, everyone's invited, and it's going to be indoor trick-or-treat event, and that starts at 4 p.m. And you can see on here we have a little QR code. Let me just pull down this this caption here. There we go. You can scan it that way. Oh, Mike's not here. But we do got John with us, joining us. John's in the building. We're about to get him back up. But you can see the QR code right over here. Go ahead and scan that bad boy so you can get all the information, so you can get all the details, all the deets, as they call them nowadays, all the young kids, all the slangs. So get the deets right there. And that starts at 4 p.m., trick-or-treat event. And we're also going to be that's the entry fee. But if you don't have a coat, let us know. I want to make sure you can make it there. I'll make sure you get covered, and we got those kids covered. That's what this is all about. So we want you to be there, and we'd love if you can help out with that and bring coats for the kids. Again, that's why we're doing this. But if you can't, for some reason, we still would love for you to make it there, and we'll make sure that they get covered one way or another. So we really appreciate all of our friends, family, clients, everyone out there. And we really hope you guys can make it. Again, we're doing an indoor trick-or-treat event the 29th at 4 to 6 p.m. And then after that, we're going to really have a smashing good time, Halloween bashing good time at 7 p.m. Scan the QR code for all the details. So, again, I'm going to get my man John back up here and see if we worked out those technical difficulties. All right, let's see. John, are you there?
Hey,
Hey, yes. All right, brilliant. We got John Kircher in the building. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, it's my pleasure. Honored to have you here. I hear such great things about you. And so, with that being said, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your qualifications, and just kind of your thoughts on the current market as well? Not to get too deep into it, but we'll get there. But can you tell us a
That's my
little bit
biggest
about
problem. I'm
yourself?
always getting way too deep into it, and I always get way too caught up in the weeds. So got to keep it real brief. But yeah, I am part of the Crystal Stearns team. We merged with Benton Capital, and it's been really an exciting journey. I'm an economist by trade, right? So studied economics at Florida State University as well as Dartmouth, and I was able to kind of leverage that into really what I thought was going to be my long-term goal. Like corporate banking was going to be my pinnacle, right? But I actually achieved it, got there. I was in it doing multi-billion-dollar deals for companies. I started out with my first company being worth $1 million. My last company that I ever worked on was worth over $1 trillion market cap, and
All right.
I kind of reached that pinnacle. But and this is something that some of the more wise people had warned me of. Hey, you got to know what you do it for. And so that was the big thing for me was I sat there at the end of that day and I said, what am I doing it for? And it was a huge opportunity for me to say, all right, I got to bring it back. I got to start kind of focusing on the people again, on the individual, not on the big corporation, making sure that we save, a couple cents and bring it all to the bottom line, everything. It's got to be more about the purpose, right? So I came to the mortgage industry, and it's been tremendous. I'm able to kind of take a lot of that experience, economics, a lot of the work that I did with high net worth individuals and companies, and I start to say, all right, how do I make individual people look at this from the perspective as a big corporation? How do I turn you into an investment company purchasing homes, or even a first-time home buyer purchasing homes and getting on that wealth journey? And that's been, it's been tremendous for me. It's just been a complete life changer, and that purpose is definitely never in short supply. I'll tell you that.
Awesome. Well,
So
yeah, I love that background. Thanks for giving that bit of background or your origin story, if you will, as I like to say. So, with that being said, how has that transitioned back into residential, into this side of things been for you? Do you find it fulfilling?
exactly, and it's the transition was actually a lot more straightforward than I expected, because not only was I able to kind of take a lot of those direct skills, specifically on more advanced financing, creative ways to achieve these financials, but I was also able to kind of build that mentality in people. And it's you don't need to think of yourself as oh, I could just never get ahead. I could just never get. It's really a lot of it is kind of taking the regular, motivated, average investor, and then just giving them the tools to become, part of what people like to call the smart money. That's what I do, right? So I'm able to kind of take a regular, average Joe, someone who's really excited, wants to get started, but just doesn't have those tools. Bring those tools, bring that skill set, and completely change. After years and years, right, we're able to have those calls and say, wow, look what we've done. We've been able to go from, hey, I'm really nervous. I'm getting my first rental property, and it's in the south, and it's a couple hundred K, and I'm just really scared. It's nice. And then suddenly it's like, okay, cool. I'm on my fourth quadplex, and what are we going to be able to accomplish after that? Right? Where can we go beyond that, and start to think of ourselves as no longer just this individual investor, but really as a much bigger, broader, more long-term goal-oriented individual. So, that's been the kind of the transition for me specifically, has been on building that knowledge base, as well as kind of building that faith in people that they say, I can do this. This is not. I just need the right tools. This is not impossible for me, and I can retire. I save up for my kids, college education. I can do all this stuff, and a lot of it, I can do it through real estate. I don't need to just be pigeonholed in the same thing everyone does with stocks, with a financial advisor, right? The possibilities are endless, and so that's been absolutely huge to me, and even this market too. I know that was kind of part of your question too. Is what are we seeing with this market? Where can we go? And one of the things that I've been talking to people on, and every market, this is my perception of this, right? Every market has an opportunity. The opportunity
Mm-hmm.
you just need to pursue correctly based on the data available, based on your understanding of the run, and also making sure that you have the top experts with you, right? So when someone says, "Hey, listen, I heard on CNN, it's not a good time, not a good time to buy." That's just what I hear on the news over and over. I'm like, okay, at what time can you come in and you're the only offer? You have all your closing costs covered, right? Your taxes, your title, your fees, all covered, right? You're able to come into this thing with, sometimes if it's a VA bar, you can come in with zero down, right? You could get your keys and potentially get your earnest money back. And then if not, conventional home buyer, people like you, right? Okay, cool. Every dollar you put in, home equity, right? When are you able to do that? It was, well, the rates are kind of high. Do you think they're going to be high forever? Is it not an amazing time to say, all right, cool, I'll take the short-term pain, right? I'll take the 7% interest rate, and then I'll refi in a year, 8 months, 2 years, whenever, we see the curve coming, right? We see it turning.
Mm-hmm.
You refi then, and then suddenly you have no closing costs, little to no down payment, right? And if you did have a down payment, everything you brought to the table was for the home equity, right? Was for down payment. And then also you get this amazing rate too. This is how the smart money plays. You take advantage of the opportunities when they're given. You're not having to do this bidding spree like we had in 2020 where, oh, the 15th offer and the seller agent won't pick up my phone calls. This is crazy. I'm writing them letters. No, you're in control now. You can't do that all the time. I mean, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what I have a lot of those conversations on is a lot of people are telling me, that we talk and we kind of build up this strategy and they go, man, I kind of don't want rates to go down for at least a little longer so I can get all my stuff covered. No, and I don't have any competition. And then the rates can come down when I already get the house. That is huge. It's all about mentality, and that's a huge game changer for what I'm seeing and when I'm coaching and talking to families.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, totally. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. Going back to the opportunity and the market and everything, that's what I've been telling some newer agents or agents out there that are kind of fearful with recession or all the talks of what may be coming a potential recession or with the market and everything. And that's what I've been telling newer agents and other agents out there is that, it really doesn't matter what's going on with the market as long as you're doing a good job and you're working for your clients. There's going to be opportunity for you. There's going to be opportunity for buyers. There's going to be opportunity for sellers. There's always opportunity out there. There's always people needing to buy or sell or invest in real estate. So there is always opportunity out there. And if you're good and you know what you're doing and you're providing exceptional service and value to your people, then there's definitely going to be opportunity for you out there, and you can help create opportunity for those people around you. That's really what it's all about. And that's what I think a lot of people are missing is that's what our job is to do, is to help provide opportunity when sometimes maybe there isn't that opportunity. Like, last year when the market was nuts and crazy and you couldn't get into a house, there was 15 plus offers and it was going for 20, 30, 50,000 over asking price, that sort of thing. You had to create opportunity for your buyers, for your clients. You had to find houses that weren't quite there yet on the market yet, or get in early, or be creative with your offers. So you have to find opportunity, and there's always opportunity. And so that's what really sets someone apart, is when they're providing that exceptional value and service, going above and beyond, and maybe not only providing opportunity, but at the very least providing education and information and helping people see the trees through the forest on what's really going on out there. And that's why it's so important to talk with someone like yourself if you don't have clarity around your finances or what's going on, or what it would take for you to get approved, or even just where you sit with everything. Just having that clarity can really give you some eye-opening opportunities and that you didn't even know existed that are right in front of you. And I see it happen all the time. So I appreciate you sharing that with me. I just wanted to see. It sounds like you really pivoted into this role for a reason of purpose, like we said earlier, you find fulfillment in it, and it gives you more of a sense of purpose. Is that true? Is that really the reason that you got into helping people with mortgages and lending and that sort of thing? And with that being said, what would you say is your why? Is that your why? And can you give us a little more, I guess, insight into your why?
Great question. Great question. So yes, exactly. I mean, I really think the big thing was the purpose. It was, okay, we're working on these amazing deals, and that was that's what's so funny is that was the purpose originally. Really, when I was in corporate lending, the big purpose was I get to work on these amazing deals. I get to, basically achieve the highest level of finance, right? Where I'm able to work with, CEOs and sit in boardrooms and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to achieve our next goal with your corporation, right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to offer you this for this investment. It's going to give this return. Basically strategizing for these corporations, and I, my why at that point was, this is really cool. These deals are fun out. It's almost really just kind of it was almost a little bit just like a young and arrogant mentality, really, about kind of how I thought about it. It was, this is cool. I've reached, I'm just going to keep climbing the mountain, try to reach that pinnacle. And then I got there and I'm sitting there looking down going, well, I'm here and I don't really feel like I help anybody. I'm here and it's cool and I've got all these awesome, stories and I've got all this experience, but who's here with me? I didn't, no one's going to call me like in mortgages. No one's going to call me, 8 months after a closing and send me a picture of, a beautiful sunset at their new house. They're like, hey man, hope everything's going really well. Just want to see the sunset. It's amazing, right? I love this. Or even last week, I got a picture of a guy, with his family, and they were playing fireworks on their dock. And he's like, dude, I felt like I have to reach out to you for this because I wouldn't be here without you. So amazing what we've been able to accomplish, and you're a huge part of that. It's like, oh man, this is it. This is what I do this for. This all makes perfect sense, and kind of that is my why. People say, okay, what's your why in one sentence? And for a lot of the families, first-time home buyers, that kind of thing, that's when you get those calls. Hey, 6 months down the road, 8 months down the road, hey, we're doing amazing. This is the family. We're having such a great time. Thank you so much, right? That's one part. And then kind of my specialization with the investor crowd and with the wealth building focused individuals. My why there is, and I kind of talked about this in my introductory call, really is, my why is the call that you and I are going to have in 5 years, in 10 years, where we say, wow, look how far we went. This is crazy. Look what we've been able to accomplish over the past 5 to 10 years. I mean, the income that we're generating, the passive income is just tremendous. And we're in a totally different situation. I have control over my life, and I never be possible, right? I was always just kind of throwing money in the 401k and trying to put a savings account, and this whole new world is open to me. That call, that 5-year call, that 10-year call, that is my why with our investor-minded individuals, and that's really a huge piece of what I build our strategy around. So it's kind of twofold, those whys. And it really just depends
Awesome. I love it.
on what we're looking.
Oh yeah, 100%. I really love it and connect with what you're saying. It really connects with my why and what we do. And we're all about helping others build generational wealth through real estate and to design an extraordinary life. And so it really connects with what you're saying. I mean, I think that's right in line with that. And so I can definitely understand, relate, and appreciate to that. Going back to what we are talking about a little earlier, just so we can provide some of that value and information to anyone who might tune in or check this later. With the current market and the current state of the, a global market, the real estate market as a whole, locally, and not to get too broad or anything, but what is your thoughts on the market? I know there's a lot of information out there about a potential recession, a lot of fear being spread. Some of it is definitely warranted, some of it might be a little overboard. But with what we were talking about earlier, there's always opportunity, and sometimes in these kind of situations, it's where the most opportunity lies, actually. So I just wanted to get your opinion on kind of the state of the market. But beyond that, what can people do, or maybe what should they look to do? What are some of those opportunities right now? What are some resources available to them for buyers who may have been struggling in the past, or for sellers with the market the way it is? So is there just any kind of information that you could provide that you think would be valuable or helpful to anyone watching?
Definitely. Oh man, lots of unpack here. So
yeah,
down. I mean, one of the first things is that everybody says, okay, right? I'm part of the old crowd, right? It's 2 periods, negative GDP, right? Recession. So that's one thing. But recessions, usually the Fed makes the money way more loose, right? It's easy money. It's the time, just right, drop rates to zero, flow money into the economy, and investing. Well, we're in kind of a different situation because right? Paul Volcker and the inflation in a very similar way, but we don't have the same capabilities or tools this time, because back then, if they raised the rates to 15, right? If they raised to that point, not only would the entire country basically economically suffer at a level that we've never experienced, the federal government could have significant liquidity issues if that happened. They have to pay out in response. So we're in a very unique situation, and I think the big keys here is that we're trying to basically say, okay, the Fed's waiting for a situation where they can say, okay, this is my interpretation of it. They're waiting for the economic indicators to say, okay, we're ready to start throwing money in the economy, we're ready to start lowering rates again. And those economic indicators aren't there yet because that double mandate of low unemployment and low inflation, right? Managed inflation, 2% or so. Well, inflation's crazy, but unemployment's pretty low. We're in a tight job market. So they're kind of sitting there going, we're not really going to pivot yet. We're going to kind of wait. We're going to see how this goes. We're just going to keep raising rates until this inflation thing hits. And my thought process is, once we start seeing the unemployment hit, once we start seeing the layoffs start to occur because the rates are so high that businesses can't do themselves anymore, they can't go out and go on a hiring spree because they don't have that cheap money anymore. That's when we're going to start seeing things start to unwind. We're going to start to see money flow in, rates differently. Now, at the same time, there is no real timeline on that. There's a bunch of different projections. I know of net could be really a huge rollover on that, for that pivot where the Fed starts to make easy money again. I'm definitely kind of leaning towards that. I really think that that is something that really not outside of have that as our projection. But the reality is that, like kind of we said earlier, in now transition to the question where, okay, so the Fed might pivot, the Fed might not, going on. Inflation's crazy. We threw $5 trillion to the economy, and we're still trying to unwind unwind from that, and that's the root of the whole issue. Is we printed so much money that now we're running into the same issue as a lot of other countries who follow the same process.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
so now it's a question of, okay, the way that we should approach this from a buyer standpoint, from a realtor standpoint, from a lender standpoint, is find, kind of what I said a little earlier, is find the opportunities in the situation we have, and then always be open to and prepared for the Fed pivot that's eventually going to bring that cheap money in, right? If you're a mortgage lender, the way you play this is, okay, let's take advantage of the situation. Let's get all those costs covered. Let's take advantage of the fact that now the sellers are not in complete control. We're bidding up like crazy. It's flipped. Now we're in control as buyers, and the sellers are kind of in a tough situation. Let's take advantage of the situation, have everything covered, and then be able to refinance later. And as a mortgage lender, you have to manage that mortgage. You got to keep an eye on it, watch it, stay in contact with these people, right? That, serve as their advisor, not just as a one and done mortgage lender. And from a realtor standpoint, you look at it in a very similar situation of, hey, listen, when are you going to get all your costs covered again? I can't promise you that in a low interest rate environment. And, that may not happen for a while. This is a pretty good opportunity to take advantage of that, refinance later. And then from the family standpoint, right, if you're the family looking at this situation, you say, okay, I mean, when are we going to run into a situation again where we're able to have a lower purchase price because we can negotiate it down? I mean, that's one of the craziest things is when people say, oh, I'm just going to wait for rates. Do you know what happens when rates drop? The price back up. So you're going to overpay for it that way. So take advantage of the situation. This is almost arguably a better time. If you were to say I'm going to sound crazy for that, this is arguably almost a better time because of all the advantages you have. And the disadvantage is your rate is high. That doesn't stay forever. All of these other things, they stay forever. The $10,000 in closing costs you had to pay, that stays forever. That was a one-time payment you had to do. The purchase price, that doesn't suddenly change throughout the life of your loan, right? It appreciates, but it doesn't suddenly, make your life a lot easier because of the timing. You're locked in that purchase price. You bought that house for that price. So this is that time. Like, this is that to take advantage and really to look at, okay, the sellers are hurting. They need to offload a lot of these properties. If you're an investor, you just can't wait. I mean, BlackRock has a massive investor fund, and this is what people are nervous about too. Well, we think that prices are going to fall through the floor, right? This is the end, right? This is 2008. They're going to drop. The housing prices are going to drop 30%. I saw it yesterday. It's like housing prices could fall as much as 20%. And just start laughing. Do you really think that once house prices, I mean, nationally or regionally, of course, there is unique situations. They popped way too high. They're coming back down to more reasonable stuff. But nationally, I mean, we've got BlackRock sitting with billions and billions of dollars in a special investment fund waiting. They literally are not even hiding the ball on this. They're waiting, and they're going to serve as that support level, right? Prices drop to something within their models. Let's go get it. Cool. Phoenix drops. Let's go get it. LA, get it. Right? Just like they did last time. They're going to keep doing this every time, over and over. And that's going to serve as a very strong source because there is so much money liquid in this economy from the $5 trillion that we printed. So that's something that I'm definitely keeping on my watch, and when I coach a lot of the investors to keep an eye out for. There is strong support for purchase prices because of those investors waiting on the sidelines.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that insight. I really appreciate that. That's some really good insight and input, definitely. So I know that'll be valuable to anyone tuning in. Just give some real perspective, right from an expert, and a really great expert at that. So, John, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure and an honor to have you on. So you're awesome. All of your input and your insight is really great, appreciated. And we hope we can have you on again sometime and talk some more house and some more real estate. How does that sound?
Sounds good, Zach. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. I really appreciate it. Send my love to the Dome. I know he's off, putting some big deals around, big deals together out there. So send my love to him and the rest of the team. And we will be back. Thanks again, John. Take care. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. But I just wanted to just to say, if you have any questions, please go ahead and drop them in the comments below, or feel free to send me DM and send your questions there. We will be going over any questions every week, and we hope to bring some people on. And we're going to have some really great guests coming up in the future, just like we just had. We're going to have some really fantastic guests coming up in the future. So, again, we're going to be here every Thursday, 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This is House Talk with ZET in the Dome.